Greetings. We continue on the theme prophets and prophecies and focus our attention on Ezekiel today. Ezekiel, a visionary prophet, bore witness to God's incredible revelation of restoration amidst despair and desolation. Like in the past, we will focus on three key sub-themes. One, the vision of dry bones. Two, the promise of spiritual renewal. And three, the hope of revitalization. Let's move on to the first sub-theme, the vision of dry bones. Ezekiel chapter 37 verses 1 to 3, we read, "The hand of the Lord was on me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry." Ezekiel's vision of the valley of dry bones symbolized the desolation and hopelessness of God's people in exile. The imagery of dry bones represents the spiritual and national desolation of Israel during their exile. Metaphorically, the dry bones symbolize spiritual death and despair. Just as dry bones lack life, vitality, and strength, the people of Israel felt spiritually dead and hopeless. Their exile, along with the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple, shattered their spirits, leaving them in a state of despair. The brokenness and disunity was evident in the scattered and disconnected dry bones, which represented the fractured state of the nation. Israel was divided, their unity was shattered, and they felt disconnected from their heritage, their land, and even from God Himself. And hopelessness and the lack of restoration, the bones being very dry, emphasized the depth of their hopelessness. It signified that the situation was beyond human repair or revival, highlighting their feelings of being cut off, abandoned, and without any prospect of restoration. In a broader sense, the vision of the dry bones is not limited to Israel's historical context, but also speaks to humanity's spiritual condition when it feels disconnected from God. Experiencing spiritual dryness, brokenness, and hopelessness. The message is that no matter how dire the situation may seem, God has the power to bring life and restoration and renewal, offering hope and a future filled with His grace and presence. In moments of personal or communal despair, Ezekiel's vision resonates, offering assurance that even the most desolate situation can be revived through God's power. Imagine a barren landscape suddenly blooming with vibrant life after a long-awaited rain. Ezekiel's vision mirrored this transformation, depicting life emerging from utter desolation. The second sub-theme, the promise of spiritual renewal. Ezekiel chapter 37 verses 5 and 6, we read, "This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord." Ezekiel's prophecy of God breathing life into the dry bones symbolized spiritual renewal and revival. God's promise of breathing life into the dry bones signified His power to regenerate and revive the spiritual state of His people. In times of spiritual desolation or stagnation, Ezekiel's prophecy serves as a beacon of hope, assuring that God can breathe new life into our souls. Imagine that deflated balloon suddenly being filled with air, regaining vitality and vibrancy. Ezekiel's prophecy resembled that revitalization, breathing life into that lifeless situation. Thirdly, the hope of revitalization. Ezekiel chapter 37 verses 11 and 12. Then he said to me, Son of man, these bones are the people of Israel. They say our bones are dried. Our hope is gone. We are cut off. Therefore prophesy and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. My people, I'm going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. Ezekiel's prophecy extended hope, promising the restoration of God's people and a new beginning. Let me highlight for you three key facets. God's promise of restoration. Ezekiel's prophecy extends beyond the visual of dry bones coming together. It reflects God's promise to restore and revive the desolated nation of Israel. The proclamation that I'm going to open your graves and bring you up from them signifies God's intention to restore his people from the state of spiritual death and hopelessness. Secondly, reviving hope in despair. The vision signifies the divine ability to bring hope where there was despair. Israel, feeling cut off and hopeless, receives the assurance that God would not abandon them in their desolation, but would bring about a new beginning. This promise served as a ray of hope in their darkest moments, assuring them that their present state was not their final destiny. A future filled with hope. Ezekiel's prophecy includes the promise of returning the people to the land of Israel. This assurance implies a future filled with hope where God's people will not only be revived but also reinstated in their homeland. It signifies a renewal of their relationship with God and a fresh start, promising a brighter tomorrow. Ezekiel's message of revitalization encourages individuals today to trust in God's power to bring life to areas of despair or desolation in their lives. It reassures that no situation is beyond God's ability to restore and revive, providing hope for a better and renewed future in Him. Ezekiel's vision of restoration of dry bones echoes the transformative power of God's renewal and revival. His prophecy offers hope, reminding us that even in the bleakest of circumstances, God can breathe life, renew our spirits, and lead us toward a future filled with hope and restoration. May we embrace the promise of renewal and restoration, trusting in God's power to bring life to our dry bones and hope to our weary souls. Let us find solace and confidence in the promise of God, whose love and restoration will prevail. Amen. This is Pearl John signing off, The Other 167. Thank you for watching The Other 167. Continue to watch. We continue on the next series next week. Look forward to seeing you. Have a wonderful weekend and a fabulous week ahead. God bless you.